Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is a Q&A episode, so let's actually get to it, shall we? So, questions only came from Benjamin from Hong Kong. So, here are some of the questions. Could Aerosteon really be the Carcharodontosaur that competed with Albertosaurus? Is Falcarius the most complete of any Therizinosaur? Is Struthiomimus one of the fastest dinosaurs? Does Pentaceratops really have 5 horns? And is Albertosaurus more active than Daspletosaurus? So to the first question, could Aerosteon really be the Carcharodontosaur that competed with Albertosaurus? And pretty much, yeah, because Albertosaurus and Aerosteon lived around the same time. And it would actually make sense since that Aerosteon is a tad bit larger. It's not 40 feet long or by any stretch. It would actually be just a tad bit over 30 feet. Whereas Albertosaurus is just under the 25-foot range of the length. And so that would actually make it comparable to make it look like that that Aerosteon would actually be the top predator during that time in Argentina. But I think the model that they used in Dinosaur Planet, that Discovery Channel show back in the early 2000s, was actually modeled based off of like either Giganotosaurus or Carcharodontosaurus from Africa. And so I would actually say that those would actually be not quite as accurate descriptions of Aerosteon, but I would actually say that Aerosteon would almost look like an allosaur by comparison. But that would actually be the comparison for Aerosteon. So it would almost look like Allosaurus in a way. Is Falcarius the most complete Therizinosaur? I am not totally sure. From my understanding, majority of the skeleton has been found except for a few skull bones. And so if you actually look up Falcarius and you actually try to find like one of Scott Hartman's skeleton artistry, and depends on completeness, you would definitely see that like the entire body of Falcarius was found except majority of the skull. So there's been a few bones of the skull have been found, so it is pretty much a guess of what the skull would actually look like. But I think they actually used a few other relatable basal Therizinosaurs that they actually did comparisons with, and they actually kind of got an idea of what Falcarius' skull could totally look like. But I would say probably in terms of the body size, but I think there's probably one. I think there is a basal Therizinosaur out there that is more complete than Falcarius. Is Struthiomimus one of the fastest dinosaurs? Absolutely. It is part of the Ornithomimids. Ornithomimids tend to be one of the fastest family groups of dinosaurs because they almost look like ostriches, based on body design. And you can definitely tell the long neck, small head, really long legs, and all that. So they can actually have speeds of between 40 to 50 miles per hour, which is pretty fast, really, really fast amongst dinosaurs. And that could actually be the case. Is that Ornithomimids that is an inclusion of Struthiomimus as part of the Ornithomimid family? I would say yes, Struthiomimus is one of the fastest dinosaurs. Does Pentaceratops really have 5 horns? Not really. I think probably the name Pentaceratops, since that Pentaceratops means 5-horn face, I think what they were actually naming Pentaceratops for was the frill. Because if you actually look at the skull of a Pentaceratops, the frill almost looks like a pentagon. And I think that's the reason why it was given the name Pentaceratops, is because the frill almost looks like a pentagon. It doesn't really have 5 horns, unless if you actually do count the 2 small horns that are coming out of the frill pointing downward to be considered to be horns. But I would say that those are actually bony scutes that actually were part of the frill. And since some ceratopsians did actually have those, and I would say that like Pentaceratops is more likely named based on the frill, because the frill almost looks like the shape of a pentagon. And is Albertosaurus more active than a Displetosaurus? You have to be more descriptive with that. If you're meaning by active, are you talking about in terms of agility, or is it more likely, is it that like does Displetosaurus more likely ambush than pursuit? Because if you're talking about agility-wise in comparison, in terms of these two dinosaurs comparisons, I would actually say, yeah, Albertosaurus is actually more agile than Displetosaurus, because Displetosaurus is a more well-muscled tyrannosaur compared to Albertosaurus. Albertosaurus is a little bit more slender. Because if you actually look at their skeletal design, you would see that Albertosaurus has got much thinner, probably skinnier, more slender bones than Displetosaurus does. Because Displetosaurus's bones are a bit more robust because Displetosaurus probably has more powerful muscle attachments to their skeleton, whereas Albertosaurus probably has not as much muscle attachments in terms of being robust. But if you're actually talking about in terms of hunting style, I would actually say that they're pretty even, almost evenly matched. I would just say that Albertosaurus tends to chase their prey a little bit more often than Displetosaurus does. Displetosaurus would probably be more likely to ambush their prey when they're adults. Juveniles, on the other hand, juvenile Displetosaurus would be really fast. They would be able to chase down their prey, whereas the adults would just be more likely doing ambush. Albertosaurus is both a pursuit and ambush predator, so that would actually be comparable to what a lot of other tyrannosaurs were, besides the really slender ones like Chianzosaurus and a few other Albertosaurians like Gorgosaurus. Those ones would be more slender animals than Albertosaurus because they actually tend to rely more on speed, and their jaw strength was not as powerful. Whereas Displetosaurus relied on their jaws and their powerfully built bodies to actually take down their prey. And I would think Albertosaurus would actually chase down the Hadrosaurs, whereas Displetosaurus would actually be trying to taking down the Ceratopsians and the armored dinosaurs, the Ankylosaurs, a little bit more often than catching the Hadrosaurs. I mean, occasionally they will actually take down the Hadrosaurs, but that's just probably more of like if they can't tackle down if the Ceratopsians and the Ankylosaurs were not abundant around in their area. But I would actually say that that's what their prey choices are going to be. But Displetosaurus will eventually go after Hadrosaurs, whereas Albertosaurus is more akin to taking down Hadrosaurs. But they will go after Ceratopsians as well, and a bit of armored dinosaurs, but I think they steer clear from armored dinosaurs because they don't want to get injured very easily. And even though the Ceratopsians can do some pretty hefty duty damage on Albertosaurus, but just be a little bit more descriptive with when you're meaning active. Is it agility or is it hunting style? You gotta pick your poison with that. All right, that's it for now. Next week would actually be a special episode. So I'll let you guys know what kind of predatory dinosaur I'll talk about. I'm thinking about doing a Spinosaurus, so I'll actually let you guys know what kind of Spinosaur I'll talk about. Probably do that like on Monday, next week Monday. And so stay tuned for that. And you guys can still send me questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts of Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post your questions on the wall or in the comments section. Remember, keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of people around you. Notice if you're younger people out there, to make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have a good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. And just so you guys know, I'm actually doing a 4-weekend traveling going on right now, and so this weekend I'm heading down to Madison Wisconsin to actually do an event for colossal fossils. And so any of you in the southern Wisconsin area, like in the Madison area, Milwaukee area, or even the La Crosse area, feel free to come on down this weekend on the 27th and the 28th of this month to actually come and check out the colossal fossils traveling exhibits. And so you get to see the woolly mammoth skull, you get to see the saber-toothed cat skeleton. We even have a Protoceratops skeleton. We got a few other stuff too, like pterosaurs, reptiles, that sort of stuff, and even got real Wisconsin fossils. So come on down, and also I'll let you get in. Pretty much we got in. Then the following weekend, I'm actually going to be in Marshfield, Wisconsin, so it's right near my hometown, but southwest of my hometown, and then the following week I'll be in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and so that's in western Wisconsin. So anybody in in the Twin Cities, or even like in the western Wisconsin areas, feel free to come on down to the Chippewa Falls event on the 10th and 11th of May. And so come and check it out, and then come and see me. Give you guys a tour and talk about all kinds of stuff that are actually around in these exhibits. So come on down and check it out. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.